You know when somebody turn in a quiz and the teacher be like, "You sure you don't want to go over any questions?" He didn't say that to me, so I think I got an A. And this section was a little bit easier to learn, so. Now this tutoring lab is different from the other tutoring lab, okay? These are like, this is calculus. They a little bit more stricter, not strict, but you know, I miss my old tutor. She matched my energy, my vibes. Let's see if he's in here. Hi. Just doing some homework.
I see. What can I do for you?
I'm gonna see if I need help. Calculus.
Very good. Yeah. You're in the right place. I love your presents. Those are indeed presents.
Huh?
Your nails.
My nails?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
They look wonderful.
Thank you.
Mine. It's been too long.
I try to get them shorter, but sometimes they outgrow.
As you can tie it.
Okay.
I don't see any problem.
Exactly. And wipe my butt cheeks, honey. Okay, I got one.
All right.
Question 39.
You doing derivatives?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me just take a photo of all this
Okay.
so I don't lose my place. Usually it's lunchtime before somebody comes in on a Monday on summer, so. Okay, so the nice thing about derivatives is that you can sort of do them mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get the lick of it, it's not too bad. It looks scary, but it's kind of like folding the laundry, you know. You just got to do it the same way every time. So, all right, what was it now?
F of t equals tangent of the square root of 1 plus t squared.
All right. Let me give you something.
This is bad. Right. Fine.
This is tutoring, honey.
You want to go a long way.
Tutor, tutor, tutor. Ooh.
This is all the derivative rules you're likely to need on one page.
Finally. Golly.
This is from the back of your book, but I photocopied it because around this time of year we get a lot of people who really use this. If you're taking Calc 2, the integration rules are on the other side.
Yeah, I got to take that next semester, I think.
All right, fantastic. We'll hold on to that paper.
Yeah, I'm keeping it forever.
Alrighty. So what you're going to do here is you're going to start on the outside and work your way in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Now,
What we do, tangent U?
you gotta be something.
yeah, so you want to start with the tangent because it's on the furthest outside. So
Sign of the sun.
I'm going to say here.
So there's a nice tour guide entity.
I'm gonna write it like this, just to kind of emphasize what's happening here. But as you get the hang of this, you're not gonna need to do that anymore. So I've got the tangent, right? What's the derivative of tangent?
The derivative of tangent would have to be
Just as long to format a paper.
secant squared.
Secant squared, right? So secant squared. Now, I've got to take this one thing at a time, right? If I've got some nested functions, then I have to use the chain rule. And all that means is I'm going to just worry about the tangent for now and differentiate that, which I did.
Okay.
The rest of it I'm going to leave where it was. So 1 plus t squared square root, that all stays inside of there.
Okay.
Now I still have to differentiate this part, but I'm going to multiply by its derivative. That's what the chain rule says. Okay, so you think of this. I differentiated tangent, now I'm done with the tangent, so I can stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Now, this has got
Now
a
I'm going to
sign.
multiply it by the derivative of
Flip these around.
whatever is inside the tangent.
Order doesn't matter.
So that derivative is
I wanna put
2t?
this first.
Well, we got the square root to worry about, but on the inside, yes, you're absolutely right. So what power?
That's the
is
1
this?
half.
Right, 1/2. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write it like that.
okay.
1 plus t
Yeah,
squared.
so like the electron tally would just be.
Everything
1
here
half,
is being divided by
right.
h.
Now I just want to take the derivative of this 1/2 part.
So what was the
I'm gonna
Lewis
divide,
diagram?
I'm
So
gonna keep, I'm gonna write, this is one
the
fraction.
1/2 comes down, right?
This
And then I
is-
subtract 1 from 1/2 and I get negative 1/2.
Well, that's a start, but yes, that's what's asking, like,
Right.
putting them, like, bonded together like that.
And
Then you want to get the correct number of bonds.
Now I gotta
here,
multiply
and then
that by
here.
the derivative of whatever is inside the square root, right? Which was 1 plus t squared. The derivative of that is
2t.
2t. Very good. Now, I'm not gonna bother writing all this twice.
No,
So my final answer here, because
hydrogen will
this is
never
gonna
last
come
one
down
single bond.
and that's gonna come down. So I'm
Carbon-
gonna be left
so how many
with
bonds is carbon?
secant squared square root of 1 plus t squared times 1/2 1 plus t squared to the negative 1/2 times 2t. Now there's some simplification I can do here. I can cancel the 1/2 and the 2, obviously. There's a couple other things you could do. You could put this into the denominator. But honestly, as long as the obvious stuff is taken care of,
Yeah, he don't really be caring.
you don't really care.
Yeah, honestly.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does
You
actually.
wanna, yeah. So
I think it's because I'm being lazy. I just gotta put in the work.
you've got to do it, yeah. So when you're learning stuff, you've got to do it slow.
Exactly.
You've got to do it one step at a time, or else you're going to be doing it twice.
Exactly.
That's kind of how I look at it.
It could be a single bond, it could be a double bond, it could be a triple bond.
Well,
All of those count as just one electron.
for lack of showing them,
That's what I think.
this is one,
So with the loan bonds, that would be
lack of approved.
The lone pairs.
We can do these if you wish.
Okay, one more.
All right.
Well, not one more, but.
That's all right.
Okay.
This one over here.
Now it's another derivative. Yeah, you can erase that.
So the carbon has 2 electron groups.
I'll be thinking I'm getting a hang of it, then I
The sulfur
get to the answer and have a completely different answer. Okay, so this one is y equals cosine of the sine of 3 theta.
Yeah, but do
All
you
right.
count the
And I'm
center?
going to take the derivative of this.
What do you mean?
So there's a way to show that it's one.
Center doesn't have any loan.
What's the furthest outside?
Cosine.
Cosine. What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
Negative sine.
So this one's a good one to remember.
The central atom, and we want to
Okay.
carbon.
Everything else I leave alone for right now. So the sine of 3 theta is going to go on the inside.
Through it,
Okay.
show how that this is
One
one.
down there.
All right. Now what's my
Yeah,
next,
just
now what's my
one
next
total
function
For the
is?
sake of completing.
The sine.
The sine, which the derivative of is
Cosine.
cosine. Cosine is
One.
Cosine of 3 theta.
Cosine of 3 theta. Very good. Now what's my next? I'm not done. Now what's my
Oh.
next function?
Zero and back.
We're not done?
So.
3 theta.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's its derivative?
A table, you can take a picture.
The derivative of 3 theta is 3.
3.
Oh, I'm not taking the derivative of the inside.
That's an easy mistake to make. Yeah.
OMG.
Chain rule is the reason you can do any of these derivatives in the first place. So it's like the most important rule.
Okay.
Electron groups.
Okay, period.
What we're gonna do here is
Make a table
draw
here.
a
Boom, 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 boom.
We can have
You kind of got to peel the onion, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
one lone pair. Oh, right?
Okay, and
So
then,
if we have 2 electron groups and 0 lone pairs, what would be the geometry for that? Yep.
let me get some snacks.
If we have 3 electron groups and 0 lone pairs,
No.
what would be what?
There's, like in this, if I go from the center out,
Yes. So this would be
one, right, this is the
trig planar. We have 4 electron groups and 0 lone pairs. Is what gives us
So if I draw from here down,
Okay,
so
so
there's an angle
2
here.
electron groups and 1 lone pair is not one we're interested in. There's not like a name for that. Same with this one and same with this
Wow,
one.
since this has.
Now if we have
radius
3 electron
one,
groups
you know what
and
these
1 lone
sides
pair,
are.
what does that give us?
Um,
The molecular geometry for it would be
Right,
that.
but this
Not
side here is
Now,
adjacent to
the
it. This side
electron
here is
group
cosine.
geometry would still be trigonal
And then
planar,
this
but the
side
molecular
here,
geometry.
Is,
Okay.
this one's cosine, this
Okay,
one's sine.
what about if we have 4 electron groups and 1 lone pair?
So, there's 2 more things
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yep, so
look at
Why is
here.
it trig?
I'm
Why
gonna,
is it?
Because
I'm gonna
only
use different
3 of the
colors.
electron groups are bonds.
to draw these.
So we
center
don't
one.
have
So,
a picture, we have
we've got
models over here, and we'll take a look.
this black triangle here, right? But there's also
So this flap thing here is the lone pair. So this is what the trigonal pyramid looks like. So you see it has three things bound to
Circular
it.
sector.
When you put it like this, it kind of looks like a little pyramid, right?
So, and then there's also.
So the molecular geometry there would be a pyramid. You have 4 electron groups and 2 lone pairs. What does that give you?
Big green triangle.
Yep. So that one is also.
So, okay, so if we look at the black triangle here.
Table you find it here. Do you go for yours one
I have
time?
base triangle.
I talk about anything that has
The area of
4
the black
electron
triangle
groups.
is, well, 1/2 times the base, that's cosine.
Okay. So then this table.
Times the height, which is sine. That's the area of the black one. If you want per sector, remember the area of the circle.
So linear does not necessarily mean
Sector, the radius here is
So,
1.
do you know what 2 things do you know about molecules and
Area
area?
of the sector. Is 1/2. Now, if you want
We did our non-polar.
area of this one, well, the base of it is 1, right? That's going from the edge here. So,
Yeah,
here to
so
here is 1.
there's
right?
2 things that you need to know in order to determine if a molecule
Well,
is polar.
when you do a similar triangle
First one
relationship,
is
right, we've
our-
got the black one inside the green one.
their
Right, so the ratio of the sides are equal.
polar.
Sine over cosine
Bonds.
is equal to something over
The
1.
second is
But sine over cosine is,
what is
gonna turn out if you play around with it, that this side right here. and
so, for instance, if we have, say,
So if we want the area of the
sulfur
green one, well,
trioxide
1/2 base times height.
versus
The area of the green
sulfur
one is
dioxide.
times 1, which doesn't do anything, times 10.
So the sulfur to oxygen is a polar bond, right? How do you determine if something is
If we
a
look
polar
at
bond?
these 3 things here, okay, the black triangle is inside the circular sector, which is inside the green triangle. So there's a relationship between.
Yes,
there.
the electronegativity, right?
So.
Yeah, so oxygen
Black
is very
one is less than
electronegative,
or
and
equal
sulfur
to
is
this
not
one,
very
which
electronegative.
is less than or equal to
So,
this one.
we know that there's a dipole that points in the direction of the oxygen, right?
Cosine theta is sine
We
theta.
can do that over here
Less than or equal to
and over here.
1/2 theta.
Yeah, so we're looking at the difference in
Less than or equal
electronegativity.
to.
Okay, so,
We can also do that for this one over here, right?
so oxygen was what, 3.5?
Yep, so there's a difference in electronegativity of 1, right? So what is the range something has to be?
True, so that's actually really
Polar.
good.
0.4 to.
Now, I'm gonna
Yep,
rewrite this.
so these are all definitely polar bonds, right? Yep,
Can you tell me again why you put the arrow going?
so you point it in the direction of the atom that's more electronegative.
Since the oxygen has
Now,
3.5, it's stronger.
I'm gonna divide everything by.
So you're pointing it in the direction of the atom that have partial negative charge, right?
I wanna
Okay,
get
so
sine
we've
over
answered the
equal.
first question. We know that both of them have polar
I'm
bonds,
gonna divide
right?
everything by sine here.
So what is the
Get
shape
me a
of
little closer
each
to
of these?
what I'm looking for.
Is the.
Not period. Yep, so this,
I'm
the
almost
molecular
there.
geometry is trigonal
But I have
planar. This
to-
one is what?
Well, I think
Yep.
the reciprocal of this, I
So-
think the reciprocal is.
If we know what the shape is,
So
what
how
we
the
can
qualities
do
work, it's gonna force
is
it this
we can
direction.
essentially think about
So I'm
how
gonna get,
these arrows are gonna cancel each other out.
one over,
So, and the way we can do that is by, can you take any physics at all?
is going to be
What we're doing is
greater
essentially
than.
vector addition, but we don't have to do anything too complicated. We can just take this arrow, just move it down here,
Over theta,
take this arrow,
greater
move it there,
than cosine.
and we'll take this arrow and move it there. So I'm just doing all of them tip to tip, right? So we just ended up right back where we started.
Okay. So now I can
This
do
one,
here,
if I
I
do
can
the
take a
same
limit
thing,
for
we'll
it.
take this one,
And take a limit,
move
if
it
theta
down,
goes to zero.
this one, move it down. I ended up in a different place, didn't I? So if you end up in the same place, when you put the arrows tip to tip like that, then it's non-polar. If you end up in a different place, it's polar. So you need both the bonds, whether each of the bonds are polar, and you need to know the shape of it in order to determine if it's polar.
Now, what's this one
So,
here?
we have two bonds.
Plug in zero to this, it's
Zero
cosine
bond.
zero. One over one, what's this one here?
So let's look at your
This one over here,
molecule, like this, right?
Yep.
So
one.
is this a polar bond between carbon and sulfur?
So, you've got two limits,
Yeah.
So let's see what the negativity of carbon
and
is.
you've got this inequality here, so
And then
figure
sulfur.
applies. So,
Zero.
this is
Yep,
one.
so if we know that the bonds are not polar, then we don't even have to ask the second question, because if there's no polar bonds, then the molecule can't possibly be polar.
So it'd be non-polar.
Yep. Yep, so if you can rule out polarity in the first question, then you don't even have to go through this arrow thing like this.
Like the one that was. Know that looks linear?
So how many electrons?
Yeah, you would have to,
I think so, yeah.
you'd have to use this one.
Yeah. So you have two electron groups and 0 lone pairs.
On the other side.
Yeah,
Two
so
electron groups, 0 lone
if you
pairs.
wanted to get the other ones, what you do,
Yep.
if you wanted to do this one. Please, there.
So if there are 0 lone pairs, then the electron
What you
group
have to do
molecular
is.
geometry is the same thing. If you have one lone pair of lone pairs, that's not necessarily true. So for instance, 3 electron groups, 1 lone pair, so this was our molecular geometry, right?
It's gonna be a force from
Whereas the electron geometry is just gonna be the same as this one right here. So trig. Yep, because with the electron geometry, we're including all of the electron groups. When you're looking at molecular geometry, it's only the bonding electron groups. Yeah, so in this one, technically, we could say trig planar for our electron geometry and molecular geometry, right?
Okay.
When you have 0 lone pairs, those two things are just examples.
Okay.
Is when you have things that are, electron groups that are not, or that are lone pairs, that they can a block. So in this one, again, it would be tetrahedral for the electron group. So we'll add the molecular geometry.
problem like this,
Then
which is,
for this, it would still be tetra
we've got a force.
for the electron geometry. And then this, the trigonal pyramid for the molecular geometry. This would still be tetra for the electron geometry, and then for the molecular geometry.
Now we got.
Remember, the number of electron groups, like in a column on here, is not changing, right? It's just that instead of all of them being bonding groups, you have 1 or 2 of them being lone pairs. So the molecular geometry changes because we're only looking at bonding.
Almost, this should almost be.
The electron geometry is looking at all of them and it's treating them the same.
Something's not right.
Does that make sense?
Good.
Something's not right.
So we know it's 1 + 1.
Helps I put the square there. So then, there's a sine times sine here. There's a sine theta over theta. I'm gonna write it this way. So I'm gonna get negatives, I don't really matter where I put the negative.
So what's a good way to determine what the center?
I'm gonna multiply by limit
Left lower
greater than 0 of
goes in the center.
sine
Yeah.
over 1 plus cosine.
Yeah, so like
But
carbon.
this one's
will be in the
0.
center is bound like nitrogen or oxygen.
Something's just not right.
This is -1, so I get -1
But
times
then, like,
0.
if you have S and O, like we saw over here, and because S is lower,
Minus
that's gonna be the center.
Why?
Probably, but
Are they sure about this?
There are some exceptions.
yeah, there's probably a way to go with it.
For instance, like.
All right, I need some help.
All right, what's going on?
So I solved this implicitly, but as I'm solving explicitly, I'm not getting the right answer.
Okay.
And it's becoming too much. So we're on number 3.
3, okay,
And I got negative square root of y over square root of x.
okay.
So we have 2, 4 minus.
But now when I try to do it explicitly,
Let me catch up to you real quick.
okay.
We don't really have costs or anything.
There's 2 bonding groups. Yep.
Besides some sleep, it's pretty much all.
Y direction.
So how many total does it have?
So can we flip it? It's 2 bondings, I think it's linear. But
No.
Figure out where.
So how many total electron groups does around the sulfur?
So you have to count the one here.
Yep, when you're counting electron groups.
Oh, that's why she put the 1 down there.
Yep.
4.
Yep, so the electron group geometry would be the tetrahedral.
Yep, okay. So for the other one, solve for y and then differentiate
And then molecule shape.
implicitly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or explicitly.
4
Yeah.
and then
So let me see here. I've got root y equals 1 minus root x.
and then we have to look at where it is.
We're not
First step you want to do?
So this is
Yeah,
0,
I need to take a picture.
multiply 0 by.
Let's see here. So, okay, this looks good so far. So 1 minus root x, and then I square that.
How do you determine that?
Then the derivative of this,
Yep.
2
The difference
times
in
1
electronegativity.
minus square root of,
Which we have to figure out.
We have to look at the
you know,
difference
you multiply by the derivative of the inside
sulfur
here.
and hydrogen.
Where did I get that from?
Well,
Oh, I think I distributed the power.
oh,
which
yeah,
I wasn't
you
supposed to do.
can't do that.
Okay.
We call that the freshman's dream.
Okay.
Because it's very, very common, so don't feel bad.
Oh, yes. OMG. I'm distributing powers and all that mess.
But I think it's not.
Distributing powers is a rookie move. Rookie mistake, I tell ya. Okay, so y equals 1 minus square root of x squared. No, this where I got the 2 from because I put the 2 on the front and then y equals 2 1 minus square
Yeah, you
root
brought
of
the
x.
2 down and you subtracted 1 from the power, but then you have to multiply by the derivative of the inside, right?
Just saying that I don't know if it's gonna be math times. This time, there's pound block.
Wait, what did you just say? Oh. Multiply this and then the derivative of the inside is
But we're always
So,
force going down.
differentiate.
-1/2
That's just how you get.
x to the 1/2. I mean -1/2.
One of them.
Wait, why is negative? Because it's a negative sign right here.
So,
Am I tweaking? -1/2.
at an angle of.
Product of functions, and I want their derivative. That I'm gonna get.
X times G prime on that.
I would put carbon.
Plus
1 minus 1 over square root x.
I always like one of the
So.
L capital.
In our case,
Okay.
I'm gonna go back.
Box is being first with 12 variable force. It's moving left to right. We're only concerned with that force. So this
Well,
one
I can agree with the cosine times the cosine.
is 12 cosine 30.
Carbon and chlorine, I know chlorine is
So,
1.
you can call one of these F and one of them B. Doesn't matter which one, you know, just do it this way. Or wrote it in. Make this F,
Let's see what you do.
F and G.
That is the F, yeah, because it's a new.
if I didn't know like how many bonds in me. How would you just go by?
Okay, so it's F, we just follow formula. So F, cosine, times, G prime, derivative of cosine. Negative sign,
No, he wasn't. Oh, but you, that's just how I was.
And we just have to keep,
Cause it doesn't work
now
out.
F prime,
this is an example.
negative sign again.
-1,
So I'm gonna get negative,
-4.
sine, cosine, plus negative sine, cosine.
Chlorine,
Well, it's the same, aren't they? Now, you can write this a little more nicely. Sine, cosine, what? Sure, that had it. Little. The way I can rewrite that.
But carbon's right. You're just wondering, you just wanted
It's
to
a
make
double angle.
carbon goes
We've
in the
got
center.
a lot.
I got confused.
There's a force going down.
Yeah,
Like
like
that, he's going
chlorine
down.
is lower, so which
You
one?
wanna know how much we have to put right here.
Round here we ride and
Well,
slide.
this I know the one you should know
Left
already.
first?
Yeah.
There's
So,
Raquel.
the lower thing is also, well, if you have
But also
two
it's pretty well.
So for instance, like these, we have oxygen and sulfur in the same column.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So neither of them is more left than the other, so then you want to look at the lower.
This
It's a
is-
little tricky.
Okay.
Definitely different than all three of these.
24.
Another rule of thumb is if you have carbon in your compound, carbon might pretty much
Is
always
there anything that we can't figure out?
Yes. Yep.
Let's do that.
On the carbon,
Does that?
correct. You'll, usually, especially in a 120 class, you probably never see carbon, but that's what you hear.
Some of that force is maybe going up and some of it's
If you
going
take
down.
organic chemistry, it does show up sometimes, like, for like a class like this, Now they just assume that carbon will never have a lone pair.
So you consider 4 would be the tetra.
Yep, the electron group geometry.
And then there's no lone pair. So it would say tetrahedron.
Yeah. So the molecular phase would also be tetrahedral.
And you said that's gonna be how it is if it doesn't have lone pairs, it's both gonna.
Correct.
You don't have to do anything because it's 4 chlorine, right? As far as electro.
Yeah,
You have to
But
like
the
divide
big-
it by
big light
4.
is-
and-
oh, no.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that 3.0?
Yes, yeah.
So we have 0.5.
Which means,
The derivative of x,
so we have polar bonds.
Over.
That means we have to go through. the
derivative
arrow
of x is 1.
Yeah.
Analysis.
Okay.
Sure. So we have
Thank you, Queen.
carbon tetrachloride. Okay, so what we want to do, because chlorine is more electronegative than carbon, right? So we put our arrows pointed in the direction.
And you know that chlorine was the 3,
Yep.
and carbon was the 2.5.
Yep, so put all our arrows like that. So then what we can do, I'll first take this arrow, just kind of move it over here. Then we'll take this arrow, move it over here, so that we get the tip of the previous one. And this arrow, move it over here. And this arrow, move it over here. And we just end up right back where we started, right?
Yeah.
What does that
This is
mean?
coming down at 39, and we want to apply force up at 39. So we know that our.
Yeah, it means that they are all essentially canceling each other out. So that means it's non-polar. We can think about it like,
This side is
so,
39.
because these are dipoles, right?
Straight down,
We can
straight
think
up,
about them,
but we're at.
they're not really forces, but we can think about like a force, like sort of pulling in all directions on this thing, right? Is the carbon going to move it all if we're pulling in each direction
Okay.
with equal force? No.
All right, I need some help.
All right, what's going
So
on?
that means we can think about it that way, and the carbon just stays where it is. Then we can think about like each of
So,
those dipole moments are canceling.
Am I
each other
distributing
out.
this forward?
If one
when
is
I find
pointing
the
this
derivative
way,
of x and
the other one's
y?
pointing equal but in the opposite direction, then they just kind of cancel each other out.
Let me see here.
Yeah.
So what would?
So what this arrow thing is showing, like I said, if you took physics.
Yeah, so that's a product rule situation, so you're going to have two terms when you take the derivative of that, because you're going to differentiate, you're going to take the, sorry, I just had lunch. So you're going to take the derivative of x and leave y alone, and then say plus, and then take the derivative of y and leave x alone, right? And the 4 has to distribute to both of those.
Okay.
Well, we know that the bonds, each single one of these bonds is polar, right? But then the overall molecule is non-polar, because each of the polar bonds cancel each other out.
Well, we've got 3.
No,
That's telling us 2 different things.
Yeah,
Because
so-
based on
You're
this,
gonna have
it
to
would
get
have
rock
been
wool.
yeah, this is telling us whether the bonds are each.
So you're gonna have to consider
This question is telling us whether the molecules, the whole molecule,
So they're either gonna put theta with the cosine, theta with the sine, or cosine with the sine.
so you can, what this shows is we can have polar bonds, but still have a non-polar molecule, right?
Overall.
Yes.
There it is.
If none of the bonds are polar, then the molecule is going to be non-polar always. But if you have polar bonds, you have to do the second step to determine whether the molecule overall is polar.
So you either make these F or these two F, these two F, and go from there. Probably just these two F
It's just a lot.
and D. And then when you find this, F prime, you know the molecule.
All these points, then it would be polar.
Yep, if you do this arrow thing, you end up in a different place than where you started, then it's polar. Because that means that the polarity of the
This
bonds
one's
are
a
not.
You take this derivative, you have to do positive again.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Can we do like a non-polar, or no, that's what I'm like, so this was non-polar, can we do a polar? Yeah, this one
Number 6 is going to be polar.
The forces are 145, so it's to minus 75. Right.
Good afternoon.
Well, you get the other half of the product, right? So, you still need this part. Yeah, looks like you just calculated these, looks like you just did this, but you still need the other part.
Yeah, just can't
I think you're right there. in terms of what it is.
Yeah, there goes, yep, came back and was out there and dashed this. Walked around that stage.
Determine is polar.
Yeah, looks fine to me, yeah. Combine stuff or simplify it.
Fluorine is 4. Yep. How is polar bonds? Is the molecule polar? So I will say that the way you have it drawn, you're gonna get the wrong answer. So, we know that, so this is why we need to know what the shape is, right? So, the shape is bent. So, what it would actually look like, once you get like higher up, like when people know that there's the implied ones there, you often have something else in that.
Like that each of my
Yep. So on mine, arrow there, arrow there. So I move that one over, and this one over.
Wait, so for the angles, it's what's stronger, right?
Yeah, it points towards what's stronger, what has a higher longevity. So the first arrow is pointed to the right on mine, correct? And the second one's pointed down on mine.
And then, do we have to go on an angle, or do we just? I was just there, did I do this wrong? That's right, this one.
But you don't, yeah, yours was nice.
No, that's what I was, like, do we have to always
No, so, like, I could have drawn by the way you got right there.
A little bit more.
So mine's just rotated. So these are the same thing, just the same way that my hand is the same, still the same hand.
Yeah.
So you could have, I could have drawn it this way. And then,
Good time.
oh, that's just the electromagnetic difference. It goes like the oxygen. So I would not read that here.
Plus sin xy.
Total. For G, one more here. Yep.
Mine is too wide. Okay.
Which means what for the whole molecule? Oh, the difference in 0.1 is non-full, right? So we don't even have to do it.
Oh, you only have to do it.
Yep. Correct. If all the bonds are non-polar, then you're finished, you just know that it's a non-polar molecule.
Yeah.
You think about it like if you trying to like figure out like
Yeah,
how
you
the
gotta
magnet which side is the north pole, one side is the south pole. If you have a bunch of non-magnetic metal, you don't even have to worry about it, right? It's all non-magnetic. You only have this magnetic, which you guys start to need something else to figure out where the north and south is. Similarly, if you have no pole polarity, the bonds, you don't have to figure out where your pole is.
Can we just do a couple of these ones?
What does effective pairs mean? So it's the same as lone pairs?
Oh, like you're like asking me.
Yeah, like I've never seen it called effect, seen it called effective pairs before.
I'm gonna assume that it's,
Oh, okay, so here, essential atom has a triple bond and one single bond, so effective pairs, I think it's just all of the electron.
This part?
Yeah, it's just all of the electron groups, so it would essentially be that number, that last number.
Oh, of the bonds and the loans.
Yes, yeah, that seems to be what it means by effective pairs there. Okay, information of electrons based on the number of effective pairs. So I assume that's probably the electron group geometry then, EG. And angle. Yeah, so the first part, is pretty much what you were working on. Do you know how to determine the angle?
We have 180 that's linear. We have 120.
Yep. Yeah, so this would be 180 degrees, 120 degrees, then 109.5 degrees. If we have lone pairs, have you talked about what that does to the angle class, or are you just assuming that anything with 3 electron groups is 120?
I don't think we talked about it because that was,
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to just predict, but we would know that if we have a lone pair, that this would be slightly smaller than 120 degrees. This would be slightly smaller than 109.5 degrees. Same with
And
this.
that app will tell us the degrees after, right?
I don't know anything about the app.
I think we use that in lab. We used to do.
The fluid structure is just this diagram.
Hey Sasha. Yeah? I'm doing a problem from this homework set, and one of the things I have is like, I'm just trying to figure out if I could convert this thing to like a substitution of v, but it's like y cubed over x squared. I don't know.
Is this for differential equations?
Yeah.
What's the equation?
From x squared y prime plus 6xy is equal to 13y cubed.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yes, because that would give us a.
Over here.
Where's they getting 8x cubed from?
That's what it says here. Part of me wonders if this is the wrong like method altogether to approach this.
This is a Bernoulli substitution, isn't it? Let me go get the book.
I I say,
Substitution?
I say, well, spoil it for you. So you're right that you're gonna have to start forming an extra bond.
I know what I need to do. I don't remember what the substitution looks like. So let's see here.
I've never heard the term Bernoulli substitution, which tells me that there
It
be.
should be in there somewhere.
Get pulled up on my test.
Yeah.
Is that carbon
That's
handle?
the textbook, there we go. Just in case I need this.
Yeah, okay, so here's what we do. First I'm gonna divide through by the x squared. Cutting out.
Nope, that's it.
Oh,
Huh?
are you out of here?
Yeah.
Good luck out there.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
I'll try my best.
Okay, so what's your name?
Erica,
Erica, I'm Sasha.
nice to meet you.
Alright, so y prime plus 6 over x y equals 13. You're gonna put the y by
All
itself.
the bonding,
Is there a reason why you do 6 over x instead of just the y, like instead
Hey,
of
Annie.
6 y over x? Because I think there's a few.
There is, yeah. The most general form of this sort of equation is going to be like this. Y prime plus some function of x times y equals some function of x times y to be.
yeah, it's linear. So this is the electron geometry, right? So what's the molecular geometry?
What I'm going to do here, I want to show this in general.
Okay. Yep.
We're free. I told myself if I get through 3 homework problems without needing help, then I'll just leave. Woo! Oh, since you've been gone, and all you ever hear me say is how I picture me with you. And all you ever hear me say, since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm still moving on, yeah, yeah. Thanks to you, now I get what I want. Since you've been gone. You singing too, period, boo. Period, boo. You wanna watch Pitch Perfect? That used to be my favorite movie, y'all. That used to be my favorite movie. Wait, what one comment? I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to get it in and do what needs to be done. But I do have some bones to pick. I love saying that. I got a bone to pick with you. That cracks me the hell of it up. Halibut. I never tasted halibut. I wonder, is it good? I wonder, is it delish? What's that one creator? He be abbreviating all the words. He trying to smooth down now.
Sorry.
Like literally, you okay, girl? All right, the elevator. Have you complimented a man today? And actually, guys, my tutor was not a boy. So don't disrespect her again. Her pronouns are she, her. She's a trans woman. I like the color she be having her nails. They be like a red. These getting too long. I thought she was just a, ooh, hold on. He look kind of cute, your leg. Ooh. Act like I'm going this way. Let's see what he got to. It's hard. Oh shit, where you go? Oh, he took the stairs somewhere. Damn it. You know he smelled moosey, honey. He know he smelled moosey on them heels. Oh, this is a fucking teacher right there. Oh my God. This is so embarrassing. But whatever. What the fuck ever. I need to get my steps in anyways. She smells nice, honey. She smells nice. All right, what do I want to do today? Today, I gotta pick my kids up in about an hour, I'm guessing. In about an hour. This is too much walking, Queens. This is too much walking. Anyways, I've been trying to get his education. Now, you know, he's going to practice. He's going to gym practice or something. I'm so moving on, yeah, yeah. Oh, please. Oh, brother. I heard I can lower my car too. I need to figure out how to do that. Thank you, Queen. Sing for him. He is going. He's going, honey. Shit. Jesus, Louise. We made it. We fucking made it, guys. Woo. After 16 miles and 16 trials, we got a new spot, y'all. How y'all liking this spot? What is it giving? What is this spot giving me? Y'all like it? You see? If only I could start dressing rich, you know? My shirt not dirty, I swear. My shirt not dirty. It's just a couple of lintels. Jeez. Just a little lint. It's ashy. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody relax. Nobody tell me what the fuck to do. That's what y'all do. Sit the fuck back. And don't tell me what the fuck to do. And just because you put sister after it, don't make it no better. Don't call me sister, bitch, if you try to tell me what the fuck to do. That's what you do. Okay? Keep your comments to your motherfucking self. But anyways, can I actually get my car warmed up? I need an oil change. My oil life is at 47%. I just drove all the way to Minnesota. Did I forget all these miles on my engine? Let me let it get lubricated and wet and moist. And do what needs to be done. That's all I'm asking. That's all I had said. Do we want to jam out to this? Oh.
She was a lean, she went to Gucci. I ride with some honey's on me, I got a Gucci. Pull up in a Jeep, I put it on for a Jeep. I want your body, give me slap up on the front seat. We gon' go for an hour, then we gon' go to the back seat. When you give me a lap dance,
baby, watch me to get, please. Okay, y'all. This is not gonna work, you guys, and it never does. So I don't know what more y'all want from me, but